What is AI? As part of our Make It Simple series, we'll be talking through some basic definitions and understandings of AI. So, ever since computers were invented, they've basically been really fancy calculators for us. They actually follow instructions exactly as programmed, and sometimes they calculate things which we want them to calculate, and if the logic is not correct, they might make a mistake. But recently, something incredible is happening. Computers are starting to learn, think, and communicate a bit like human beings. They can now do creative and intellectual work that until recently only we could handle as humans. This breakthrough is called generative AI. But before we move to that, let's first understand what AI is. There's a lot of buzzwords outside, and it might get a little bit confusing for people who are new into this space. So, in order to explain it in a very simple word, what I did is I tried to create an analogy or an example which relate to what you can understand in the current world. So, I'm guessing it's not 1998 when the Google was not even launched, but today in 2024, we all understand what databases are, right? Databases are the places where we store data. Now, imagine if you have tons of databases with tons of data, let's say petabytes of data. For this example, let's say 100 gigs of data here, and then I don't know, 1,000 gig of data here, right? And now, if you want to understand how this data can help you in real world, what you could do is you can encapsulate this data into a very smart brain, right? This is a smart brain. And because you have encapsulated this data around this smart brain, what is happening is this brain has some kind of network inside it, which kind of works like our brain. Okay. And what does this do? This actually interacts with these databases and then learn from these databases. Just for an example, do not take it literally, okay? So it reads from the database, understands, and then grow. Okay, so it reads from the database and understand and grow, and then it starts responding to the queries we put together in front of it. So, for example, if I have trained this smart brain encapsulated around the databases which I have provided it to it, I provided the database, for example, let's say all the cities in the world, and potentially the second database is um, population of those cities. Now, this smart brain has understood what are the number of different cities in the world and what are their population. What I could do is I could go and ask this smart brain about, can you list the top 10 cities in the world has population more than 20 million? Or even easier, just list the top 10 cities in the world which has the maximum population. What does this brain does is because of its learning what it has learned from these databases, it get backs to me with top 10 cities. For example, in this case, it could get back to us with Mumbai, Shanghai, London, depending upon the data we have provided. But we could have achieved this from a traditional software also. We could have connected these databases to a traditional software or a calculator, and then this software could have gone into our databases and then provided us the list of the cities which has the highest population with the queries which we have provided, right? But the benefit of this smart brain is you could actually train this smart brain with not just one, not just two, not just 100, not just 1,000, but millions of databases or millions of data sets. And it keeps learning from these data sets and then potentially can answer the queries. Now, one of the caveat is that if you ask this smart brain about something which it hasn't actually learned yet from the data, they then this brain would try to explain it with some kind of hallucinating answers. But if you challenge it, it might come back to you and say, okay, you're right, I'm wrong, this is the correct answer. But in theory, to understand what is AI, it is simply a machine which learns from the data we feed it and then provide us solutions or answers to our question. This is a big deal, because AI will impact nearly every person and businesses on the planet, sometimes for the better and sometimes not. The purpose of this video is to give you a practical understanding of what AI is beyond these buzzwords. The better you understand, the better prepared you'll be to thrive in the AI era, right? So imagine if you have an office assistant. So let's take this example further, right? So this is you have two hairs for some reason, but then you have an office assistant, right? This office assistant is not a human. It's not a human. Actually, it is an AI. Okay, this is an AI, and this assistant does not take any holiday, doesn't ask for promotion, and works tirelessly 24/7. That's good. It's machine, right? But they handle tasks efficiently, adapt to different roles, be it a researcher, planner, coach, or even a creative brainstormer, and never complain about overtime. However, like any assistant, they have limitations. Now, what are the limitations? They really rely on your clear instructions to deliver their best work. For example, if you are looking for a Starbucks coffee and you ask your human assistant to go to Starbucks and bring it, your human assistant will ask you questions. What kind of coffee you want? You want black, white? Do you have any intolerances or any allergies? And then you have to specify these, conditions so that the assistant can go to the Starbucks and bring you back a coffee. Whereas if you ask the same thing to the AI human, but there is a high potential that it will not ask you for these questions because it's not that intelligent at this point. And then it will go and potentially bring back the coffee. So most people barely scratch the surface of what this assistant can do from a AI perspective. It can do much more, but there are limitations to it because there are some things which is it is still learning. So in theory, if you say, if you ask me like what is AI, I think I could say that an AI model is like a digital brain made of millions or billions of connections called parameters, which is this one's At its core, it's a numbers game. Input gets converted to numbers, processed, and then returned back into meaningful text, images, or other kind of contents, right? For example, if you, just the example we have taken for the coffee, if you provide the coffee example to your AI thing, then it will bring back the coffee instead of asking you the question. Although you can always, provide the specification. So I think in order to understand what AI is for at this point of our time, this is a pretty simple explanation. If you want to learn more about the AI, then you can follow the channel, and then we will keep dropping these small snippet under the Make It Simple series we are working on. So yeah, if you want to understand more about AI, give subscribe to this channel and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Have a nice day. Thank you.